On a chilly night in the East Village, a gallery showcasing Ukrainian art sprung up. The gallery is filled with art by Ukrainian artists. The event is sponsored by the nonprofit Sunflower Network to raise money for Ukraine, led by founder Dustin Ross.
While I was there, I realized there is an incredible network of local Ukrainian individuals and organizations that are doing the hard work of figuring out what's needed and then getting it there.
Executive Director of the Sunflower Network, Jack Chase, along with Dustin, visited Ukraine this past fall, where they met with artists in the country to coordinate the transportation of the art to the U.S.
The people that stayed behind, the people that didn't flee the country or put themselves on the front line to fight, were mostly artists.
Similar to the street art of Kyiv, much of the art displayed in Sonia is political in nature.
The first thing that struck me was when we were in Kyiv, I was so profoundly impacted by the street art because all of it is super political and super war related.
When visiting a war zone, Dustin and Jack found themselves shocked by the reality of war in the modern world. With war comes aid, and with aid comes expenses. And the Sunflower Network holds partnerships with large institutions that help alleviate some of these expenses.
We have gotten in touch with Beacon Hospital in Dublin, which has contributed a large amount of ambulances and then medical supplies. And through Beacon Hospital, we've tapped into and grown our community of people united around making a difference. And more importantly, what I realized is we can create a real impact by empowering those local groups.
While they are examples of people who have traveled to the center of the conflict in Ukraine, Daria Kolomiech is an example of someone who has traveled away from it to bring more international awareness to the war.
My voice here is much more louder because New York, this is the center of the world, And I came here just to speak out loud about the other center of the world right now, Ukraine. Because right now, Ukraine are fighting for freedom. Ukrainians are fighting for freedom.
Daria is a musician and DJ from Ukraine. She spent the first few months of the war in the country, but decided to leave for the United States, believing she will be of more help there.
I can't carry gun, but I can carry and share music, doing the performances. This is the best way I can make awareness about Ukraine.
Daria has participated in a number of awareness-raising efforts through her music as well as her podcast series, Diaries of War, which brings together audio stories of Ukrainians' experiences during the war.
When American actors use English language, to deliver those stories to American people, it feels much more like, oh my God, what should I do if someday it can happen to my country, my city, my apartment?
Evgeny Sinelnikov is the subject of one of these stories. He is a filmmaker and TV presenter from Ukraine. He had the opportunity to leave, but decided to stay in the country.
This is the place of my parents, the place of my house, the place of my life. That's why I stay in Ukraine.
The will and determination of the Ukrainian people has spread far from the battlefield. Ukrainians like Daria and Eugene hope their stories can inspire outsiders to bring more attention to the conflict.
If you want to support Ukraine, everyone is a media person right now. Just use your social media. Use one stories a day in your Instagram for Ukraine. Just one stories, but please do it as a routine every day.
Me, I just like having positive impacts on people. And I just think that I wholeheartedly believe in the power of collective humanity.
In New York, a city of 8 million voices, individuals and organizations like Daria and the Sunflower Network stand out. Ukrainians and non-Ukrainians alike are bringing much-needed aid and attention to the suffering of the Ukrainian people.